In this video, we're going to break down your backside board slide in order to figure out how to get it to the next level. There's a couple things that I really love about your backside board slide. First has to do with this takeoff. You're making sure to maintain contact with the lip until your tail slides off the end. This is naturally putting your nose of your snowboard over the rail, while letting you keep bending your legs, giving you a powerful platform to rotate into that backboard position without going and compromising your form. You're also showing a really good ability to go and keep your weight set over the proper point of the balls of your feet throughout a more tall position into a more squatted down position. That said, there's a few little things that you want to change in order to make it so you can do these backboards on your front foot and slide in and control to the end of a rail. The first has to do with your takeoff and the feature itself. This is a very low down to the ground rail, and that's going to make it so you can't naturally go and pop up and get onto your front foot, jamming it into the side because you're already over the rail. So these lower jump on rails are actually harder to stop your sideways momentum on. And the other thing that's messing you up on the takeoff is you're taking off just too close to the rail. Because you're so close to the rail here, when you go and rotate your board, instead of having it rotate over to your front foot, it's rotating you to the center of your board. And it's going to be a lot harder to go and stop your sideways momentum and have a good balanced position from the center board position. So what you need to do is adjust for this. You need to take off slightly further to the left. You don't want to change your angle of approach, your edge pressure, anything like that. You just want to take off slightly further away from the rail, so when you go and do your pivot, it'll be set over that front foot. And pivoting over the front foot is way nicer because it goes and lets you push out your back foot in order to get that rotation, making it so you can get a little more disconnected with your lower body and upper body, giving you more flexibility to rotate your hips. Then the next thing you're going to need to do is shift from your flat backboard position into a slightly angled backboard position. See here how my back foot's down, my front foot's up, going and countering the momentum I had getting onto the rail. Since I came heel side onto the rail, I go and counter it with having my board drip down the other way. This is only really possible if you go and hit the rail on your front foot first, but there's also one more thing that's going to make it harder for you to do right now, and that's how much bend you're having in your body. If we compare two bodies right here, you can see that I'm keeping a lot more extension in my upper body, a lot more extension in my legs, where you're a lot more squat down. We both have the same center of balance over the balls of our feet, so that means you're still utilizing the effective range of motion. That said, this should be your maximum squatted position that you'd get into if you stumbled. So for example, if you hit like a kink rail or anything, you'd want to go and absorb it, and then that's as low as you'd want to get. I'll use this to demonstrate why this is. So look at your butt positioning right here. It's almost towards your knees. That makes it, if you go and drop down to this level, your weight's going to be set too far back and you're going to slip out. This is giving you a very small range of motion to go and squat down into, not giving you much room to rebalance. Where since I have more extension of the body, this lets me go and squat down all the way to how compressed you would be while maintaining the same center of balance. So you just want to go and get the same center point, but just extend it. Bring up your upper body, bring up your legs, and keep yourself taller. We're going to unlink it here and compare one of your other rails really quick. Let's do this first one because there's a couple more things that we're going to want to change with this form. Really specifically right here is your head positioning. Because you're squatting down so much, it's making it so your neck's naturally wanting to go and look too much towards the rail. You really want to keep this whole posture a little bit higher while keeping that vision set more out in front of the rail. So if we go and look at my one here, you can see I'm not looking down towards the rail. Instead, I'm looking towards the end of the rail and then continuing that spot to the end of the rail. So I think all that's happening here is you're having your spot at the end of a rail and you're holding it at the end of a rail, but you want to, instead of keeping it at the end of a rail, you just want to keep that same head position that you used to see the end of a rail and then continue it to go and see into the landing towards the end of the rail, because that's just going to help you stay taller and see where you're going, making it easier to pop out. And the last thing that we're going to cover is now how you can go and use that counter rotation, get your foot down there and kill your sideways momentum. So first things first you're going to want to have less compression coming to your body. You see how you're going and sucking everything up, getting onto the rail. You actually want to be going and extending onto a rail because sucking up is basically increasing your height, increasing the amount of time you're falling towards the feature. So you're leaving really good with a nice legged position, but as you suck up, it's increasing the amount of time you're in the air. It's also not good for doing shifties to go and suck up your legs. Just think about compressing your body and how that impacts your range of motion of rotating your hips and upper body. So by going and instead of sucking up to preemptively absorb the rail, instead extend to meet the rail, elongates your body, giving you more flexible range of motion, while lessening the impact of hitting the feature because you're going and matching it. Think about like catching a ball. If you go and try to catch a ball all at flat, it's going to just slam in, a lot of impact. But if you go and line up your catch to go and come and sync up with the ball, it's going to lessen that impact. So that's why we're trying to extend our legs a little bit to meet the rail. Not so much that our legs are straight, but we're still trying to keep that little bit of bend with our center of balance. And that extending will also make it easier to aim your front foot and extend it down to the rail. So that's the last thing that we'll cover here, and it's really important. You don't want to be going and extending to meet the rail with both feet at the same time. See here how your legs go and make contact with the rail at the same point. You're completely in line, both feet in sync. You actually want to go and let your front foot push down and be the first thing that makes touchdown, because that's going to go and set your weight over onto that front foot, as well as keep your back foot weightless, making it easier to then let your hips shift down and kill your sideways momentum. So final recap, what you need to change here is take off a little bit further away from the rail. Don't go and suck up your legs to get into that backboard position. Instead, stay a little bit taller and extend to meet the rail. And then keep your upper body a little bit taller, legs a little bit less bent, and keep your spot more towards the landing, towards the very end of the rail, and don't let your vision come down, crumpling you up, making it so you're just a little bit too much of a ball. Do that, and it should really help your backside board slide feel way more controlled and way easier, more fun, and just more breezy. Make these changes and let me know how they go, and if you need any more feedback, let me know and we'll get you sorted.